Welcome to Starbound Valor HFY. Subscribe now and dive into daily epic sci-fi adventures where humanity always rises. General Korvac stood in the center of the Empire High Council chamber, a massive hall filled with floating lights, cold metal walls, and the sharp gaze of the most powerful leaders in the galaxy. He had fought in more wars than anyone in that room. His armor carried scars from battles that happened before some council members were even born. But today, Korvac felt something he had not felt in decades: fear. His strong hands, usually steady as stone, trembled slightly as he activated the hologram projector. A blue light filled the air, forming a spinning image of a small blue planet, Earth. The council members shifted in their seats, whispering, confused about why their most respected general was presenting information about a primitive world. Korvac took a deep breath, forcing his voice to stay steady as he spoke. "This," he said, pointing at the hologram, "is humanity's home. And this species must be feared." The council erupted in laughter. Some covered their mouths, others leaned back in amusement. The Empire Minister, a tall alien with silver skin, shook his head. "General Korvac, you have fought too many wars. Humans. They use metal bullets. They cannot even travel past their small star. Why fear them?" Korvac did not laugh. He did not move. Instead, he pressed another button, and the hologram changed to a scene that made every whisper in the room fall silent. It showed humans in the middle of a disaster. A terrible earthquake had destroyed a city. Buildings were falling, fires burning, people screaming. But the important part was not the destruction. It was what the humans did. They helped each other. They lifted broken concrete with nothing but their muscles, pulling strangers from danger. They formed rescue teams in minutes. They stood in front of collapsing walls to shield children. They did not run. They did not surrender. They fought to survive with a willpower that looked almost unnatural. Korvac spoke again, his voice deep. "Look at them. Their strength is not only in weapons. It is in their spirit." In every crisis, humans show something no other species shows: this strange ability to adapt, to evolve, to unite. He changed the image again. Now it showed human history: wars, revolutions, scientific leaps, tragedies, comebacks. Humans rising again and again from near extinction. "They destroy themselves," one council member mocked. "They always rebuild," Korvac replied. "They learn from pain. They grow from suffering. And that makes them dangerous." Another hologram flickered on: astronauts. Humans, small and fragile, stepping into space with machines they built from nothing. They reach for the stars with almost no technology. "What happens when they gain more?" Korvac asked. The council members exchanged glances. Korvac could see doubt beginning to form, but many still looked unconvinced. He pushed the real evidence next. The final hologram showed a secret recording taken by one of the Empire's scout ships. It showed a human soldier performing a rescue mission. The man lifted a piece of metal 3 times his body weight to save a trapped friend. His body was shaking, but he did it. Every species in the galaxy had limits, yet humans broke theirs whenever they needed to. "How is that possible?" one council member whispered. Korvac answered, "Because humans do not know their limits. They break their own rules. They fight harder when they are scared. They grow stronger when they are in danger. They are unpredictable, uncontrollable." He paused, letting the silence fill the room. "And we have been watching them. But they have started watching us too." A cold wave passed through the chamber. The minister leaned forward. "What do you mean?" Korvac swallowed. "A few weeks ago, our scout ship approached their moon. It stayed hidden, or so we believed. Humans sent a message to us. A simple message." He pulled up the recording. A human voice played through the chamber. "Come." Confident. "We know you are there." The room froze. No species had ever detected an Empire stealth ship, not at that distance, not with that technology level. But humans had. And they had responded with a message that was not angry, not fearful, just aware. "This is why I warn you," Korvac said. Humanity is not weak. Humanity is waiting, watching, preparing. And if the Empire makes the wrong move, humanity will not attack first. But if they are forced, they will not stop. The council chamber stayed quiet, but Korvac saw arrogance returning to their faces. The minister smiled, waving his hand as if brushing away dust. General Korvac, humans are emotional, chaotic. They fight each other more than anyone else. They cannot stand against an empire of 80 worlds. Korvac's eyes burned with frustration. That is exactly why they are dangerous. They fight themselves and survive. What happens when their enemy is not themselves but someone else? The council did not listen. Some laughed. Some whispered. Some looked bored. The minister finally stood and declared, "Your warning is noted. But the Empire does not fear insects." Korvac looked at the hologram of Earth One last time. He knew what would happen. He knew what the Empire was inviting. And he knew the council had made a deadly mistake. With a voice heavy with defeat, he whispered words that only a few in the room heard, but those who did would remember them forever. This is the mistake that will end us all. Weeks passed after Korvac's warning, but the Empire Council did what they always did. They ignored everything that made them uncomfortable. Instead of preparing for dialogue with humanity, they sent more scout ships, more spies, more silent watchers toward Earth. The Empire believed that if they observed humans long enough, they would find weakness. But the more they watched, the more confused they became. A small Empire scouting vessel called the Vernac drifted silently above Earth's orbit, hidden behind the shadow of the moon. Its sensors picked up strange human activity every day, yet none of it matched what the Council expected. Humans were not expanding aggressively. They were not preparing fleets. They were not even building dangerous weapons. Instead, they were busy helping each other, inventing new technology, solving their own problems. Inside the Vernac, the crew gathered around a screen showing live footage of Earth. One officer frowned as he watched humans pulling a damaged satellite back to safety using nothing but improvised equipment. "They do not run from danger," he muttered. Another officer pointed at a different screen. In it, humans from different countries were working together on a rescue mission after a storm. "They unite quickly," she said softly. "Too quickly." The captain of the Vernac sent a report to the Empire. Humans are unpredictable. They cooperate even when they disagree. And they do not seem afraid. But the Empire leaders dismissed the report immediately. "They look cooperative because they have no real power," the minister answered. "Keep watching. Find their weaknesses." But the weaknesses they expected never appeared. Instead, the spies saw something more alarming. One day, a rebel fleet, small, damaged, fleeing from Empire patrols, accidentally crashed near human space. Humans picked up their distress signal. Within minutes, Earth sent repair teams and medical support, rescuing rebels the Empire considered dangerous. The rebels, confused and shocked, expected humans to question them, interrogate them, demand something in return. But humans simply said, "We help those who need help." A week later, an Empire transport ship malfunctioned near Mars, its engine burning out. Its communication systems only partially worked. Before the Empire fleet even arrived to save it, humans had already reached the ship, stabilized the crew, and towed the vessel to safety. The Empire crew thanked the humans, but the humans only smiled and said, "You needed help. That is enough." These two acts, helping rebels one day and helping Empire citizens another, spread confusion across the galaxy. Rumors circulated. Who did humanity support? Why were they helping everyone? The Empire Council demanded answers from Korvac, as if he controlled humanity. He stood before them again, tired and disappointed. "It is simple," he explained. "Humans choose neutrality. They do not want to join sides. They want to stand alone." The minister scoffed. "Neutrality is weakness." Korvac shook his head slowly. "Neutrality, in humans, is not weakness. It is patience." But again, the Council's arrogance blinded them. They believed humans stayed neutral because they were afraid to pick a side. They believed humans helped everyone because they were desperate for friends. And so the Empire decided to push harder. They sent messages to Earth, trying to force them into a political alliance. They demanded humans choose the Empire over the rebels. They demanded humans obey imperial law. Humanity's answer was simple. Come. Direct. A message broadcast across all frequencies: Earth chooses neutrality. That single sentence irritated the Empire. But Korvac understood its true meaning. It was a warning disguised as peace. He tried to convince the Council to back away, but they ignored him again. Meanwhile, something unusual began happening on Earth. Human scientists started working on new starship engines. Human engineers upgraded old satellites into advanced orbital defenses. Human governments held secret meetings, tightening global unity. And something strange appeared in Earth's orbit, a small, unregistered human ship. Unlike anything seen before. No official launch. No name. No identification. The Vernac scout ship picked it up first. It moved silently, without using typical human engines, as if it was gliding through space. "What is that?" the Vernac captain whispered. Humans cannot build such a thing. But humans had built it, and they were testing it. The small ship moved with speed that shocked even the Empire officers. It disappeared behind the moon, reappeared near Earth, then shot upward toward deep space. No radio signal. No communication. Just a silent departure. The Empire Council dismissed the report again, calling it human luck or accidental design. But Korvac knew better. He felt dread rising again. Humans had been calm for too long. Neutral for too long. Quiet for too long. This is not peace, Korvac warned. This is preparation. The Empire refused to listen, so they did what they always did. They pushed harder. They sent more ships toward Earth. More demands. More pressure. But with every new attempt to control humanity, Korvac could sense the storm growing. Humans were watching everything. Humans were preparing silently. Humans were waiting for something. And then, one night, the Vernac scout ship picked up a message, one not meant for the Empire but accidentally intercepted. It was a human military broadcast. Calm voices, steady, focused. Protocol Gray remains inactive until direct threat is confirmed. Maintain observation. Do not engage. The Vernac captain felt his skin crawl. Protocol Gray, he whispered. What is that? No Empire database had ever recorded anything with that name. And yet, the humans spoke of it like something ancient, something powerful, something they would not activate unless absolutely necessary. The message ended with a final line that chilled the Vernac crew more than anything. We know the Empire is watching. Stay calm. Stay patient. We respond only when attacked. Humanity had chosen neutrality. But that neutrality was not weakness. It was the silence before something far more dangerous. Something the Empire was too blind to see. Something Korvac prayed would never be awakened. Tension grew slowly across the galaxy like a silent storm. The Empire Council, annoyed by humanity's calm neutrality, decided it was time to show power. They believed humans were small, stubborn, and easy to pressure. So they began their first step, a message sent directly to Earth. It was not polite and not friendly. The message said, humanity must choose. Join the Empire now, or remain isolated forever. The words were meant to intimidate, but when Earth received the transmission, the reaction was strangely peaceful. Earth's leaders gathered in a quiet room, a long table stretching across the center, screens showing the message again and again. The President of Earth, a calm man with steady eyes, simply exhaled and said, "We choose neutrality." Again. The message was sent back to the Empire. No threats, no fear, no aggression. Just the same answer humanity always gave. But this time, that answer made the Empire angry. In their minds, neutrality meant disrespect. They expected humans to bow, to obey, to follow. Instead, humans stood alone, neither joining enemies nor allies. Back in the Empire High Council chamber, the minister slammed his fist on the metallic table, sparks of anger in his voice. They reject us again. They think they can refuse the Empire. Many council members agreed. Only Korvac stayed silent, watching them ruin themselves with arrogance. Their answer is not rejection, Korvac finally said. It is warning. A calm warning. But no one listened. Instead, the Empire decided to send a small fleet near Earth, not to attack, but to show presence. 20 Empire warships moved into human space, their engines glowing red, forming an intimidating wall. Humanity saw it instantly. Satellites blinked, sensors activated, and radar screens filled with warnings. But Earth did not panic. Earth did not prepare for war. Instead, humans sent a simple message: we see your fleet. We remain neutral. The Empire expected fear. They found only calm silence. That silence made the situation worse. The Empire fleet commander requested permission to test human defenses, just to measure their technology. The council approved. And so the Empire ships began moving closer, scanning, watching, pushing. They stopped near the moon, trying to provoke a reaction. Humans did nothing aggressive. They simply continued watching. On Earth, military command gathered in a large underground room. Screens lit the walls, showing every Empire ship in perfect detail. A general spoke quietly. "Do we prepare weapons?" The president shook his head. "No. They want fear. We will give them patience." That same night, something else happened, something the Empire did not see coming. The strange human ship seen earlier by the Vernac scout reappeared. Silent, fast, unnoticed until it was right above Earth. This mysterious craft did not match any official human design. It moved without using fuel in the way Empire sensors understood. It rotated once, flashed its engines, and moved into orbit. The Vernac scout recorded everything, panicking as they realized humanity was testing something far more advanced than the Empire believed possible. "They are hiding their real power," the Vernac captain whispered. The Empire Council again ignored the report. "A single ship means nothing," the minister said. "Humans are improvising like always." But Korvac leaned forward, his eyes narrowing. "That ship was silent. Faster than our frigates. You are blind if you think it means nothing." Meanwhile, Earth continued its quiet preparations. Engineers upgraded satellites into shield nodes. Scientists worked on something called the pulse array, a defensive web that could disable ships without killing. Nations shared technology, building secret facilities under oceans and mountains. Humanity was uniting, growing stronger, but they still refused to attack. They still refused to choose a side. One evening, a human communication officer spoke to the president. "Sir, the Empire fleet is moving again. They are approaching closer, within defense range." The president nodded calmly. "Contact them." The message humans sent was simple: "You are entering restricted space. Do not advance." It was a warning, not a threat. But the Empire misread it as fear. The Empire fleet commander smirked. "They warn us? They think they can warn us." And then he ordered his ships to move even closer. This was the moment the entire galaxy would remember. The moment everything began to shift. Humanity still stayed neutral. They did not fire. They did not threaten. But they activated a soft signal across space, a strange pulse invisible to normal sensors but picked up clearly by the Vernac scout. It was a coded human message, calm and chilling: "Protocol Gray is now on standby." The Vernac crew felt their hearts drop. That same unknown term, Protocol Gray, again. But now the tone was different. It was no longer inactive. It was standby, one step from activation. The Vernac captain immediately reported it. The message reached the Empire Council, but as always, arrogance drowned reason. "Protocol Schmotocol," a council member mocked. "It is human drama." Korvac stood slowly, his voice cold and heavy. "Protocol Gray is not drama. It is preparation for war." But the council refused to listen. The Empire believed humans were bluffing. They believed humans were weak. They believed humans were afraid. And so, they made their final mistake. They sent a direct order to the fleet commander, force them to respond. Make humanity choose. The fleet moved forward again, crossing the invisible boundary humans had warned them about. And for the first time, humanity reacted. Not with weapons, not with threats, but with something far more frightening. Every Empire ship's engines shut down instantly. Their navigation systems crashed. Their weapons went offline. Lights flickered. Screens went black. The entire fleet froze in space as if caught by an unseen hand. Human satellites hovered silently above, scanning the helpless ships. Earth sent one short message: "Do not push us." A warning. A final warning. One the Empire still refused to understand. The Empire fleet remained frozen in space, powerless and humiliated, while Earth watched them silently from afar. 4 hours, the Empire ships drifted without engines, their lights dim, their captains shouting in confusion as their systems refused every command. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, human satellites released their hold and the ship systems rebooted slowly, flickering back to life. No human attack followed. No threat. No speech. Just silent control. The message was clear: humanity was not weak, and they were not afraid. The Empire fleet limped away, but shame and anger spread through their ranks. Reports reached the Empire Council, and the chamber erupted with rage. Many demanded revenge, others demanded immediate war, but none admitted the truth: they had lost without a fight. Only Korvac understood what this meant. "You did not see power," he warned them softly. "You saw restraint." But his warning became meaningless noise in a room full of pride. While the Empire debated, humanity continued its quiet upgrades. Satellites multiplied, defense shields strengthened, and new signals were detected in Earth's orbit. Signals the Empire had no technology to decode. In the middle of this rising tension, a small Empire patrol vessel known as the Arvax received orders to approach Earth's neutral zone again, but this time at a lower distance. The patrol crew felt uneasy, remembering what had happened to the fleet, but orders were orders. The Arvax moved slowly, cautiously, scanning the area for any sign of human ships. Everything looked peaceful. Too peaceful. The calm made the captain nervous. He ordered his crew to run deeper scans, and that was when they picked up a tiny human research craft drifting near the boundary. It was not a warship, not even a military craft. Just a small exploration vessel carrying 5 humans on a scientific mission. The Arvax crew debated what to do. Their orders said to test human reactions, but not to attack. Yet the captain, driven by frustration and humiliation after hearing how the fleet was disabled, made a reckless choice. "Lock onto the human craft," he ordered. His second-in-command hesitated. "Sir, that is a civilian ship," the captain growled. "A ship is a ship. They must know the Empire is superior." The Arvax activated its tractor beam, pulling the human craft closer. Inside the human ship, alarms rang loudly. The crew tried to send a message, but the Empire patrol jammed their signal. The humans shouted into their microphones, "We are civilians. We request release." But the Arvax ignored them. The patrol members expected the humans to panic. Instead, they witnessed something strange. The human crew stayed calm, speaking to one another, performing safety procedures, and trying to stabilize their vessel. They did not scream. They did not surrender. They did not beg. Their calmness angered the Arvax captain even more. "They mock us," he growled. "Fire a warning shot." His officers froze. "Sir, this is not allowed." But before they could stop him, the captain fired a small plasma bolt. It struck the human ship lightly, enough to shake the vessel violently. Inside the human craft, a metal beam snapped loose, falling onto one crew member and injuring him badly. That was the moment everything changed. On Earth, alarms triggered instantly as satellites detected the attack. Human command went silent for a moment as screens filled with data. They saw the human vessel trapped. They saw the energy bolt. They saw the injury. And then every human leader understood the same thing. The Empire had crossed a line. The president stood slowly, his voice cold and sharp. "Who fired on that ship?" The answer came seconds later. Empire Patrol Vessel Arvax. The President's expression hardened. Contact them. Earth sent a message to the Arvax. You have fired on an unarmed ship. Release them immediately. The Arvax captain laughed when he received it. Look, they fear us. They want their people back. He sent a mocking reply. The Empire does not take orders from insects. On Earth, the silence that followed was not weakness. It was judgment. Human Command activated protocols in the satellite network. Lines of code flashed across screens. Energy readings spiked. And then something happened that no Empire ship had ever seen. The Arvax lost control. Its tractor beam shut down. Its engines stalled. The lights flickered wildly. The ship spun slowly, systems collapsing one after another. The captain panicked, shouting at his crew, "What is happening? Restart everything." But nothing responded. The human research craft drifted free, guided by a soft invisible push, Earth technology pulling it gently back toward safety. Human medical ships launched instantly, faster than anything the Empire expected. They reached the human crew, transported them away, and stabilized the injured member. Meanwhile, the Arvax continued spinning helplessly. Earth sent one final message to the patrol ship. This is your warning. Do not harm our people again. Korvac received the report late that night. When he read the words, his heart sank. It has begun, he whispered. We triggered them. In the Empire Council meeting the next day, the minister tried to downplay the situation. It was only a patrol ship. Humans overreacted. Korvac slammed his fist on the table for the first time in years. Overreacted? They did not kill your ship. They did not fire on you. They disabled you because you harmed their people. Do you not understand? Humans respond only when pushed. And you have pushed them. Many council members ignored him again, but a few finally looked uneasy. They had seen the reports. They had seen how humans shut down the fleet. They had seen how they controlled the Arvax. Yet they still pretended nothing was wrong. Humans are testing us, one council member insisted. Korvac shook his head. No, humans are warning us. Alone in his quarters, Korvac replayed the human message again and again. Do not harm our people again. It was not a threat. It was a promise. A quiet, heavy promise that chilled him to the core. And deep inside, he knew the Empire had just taken the first step toward a catastrophe they could no longer avoid. The Empire had always believed that humans were only a small and unimportant species, a quiet and distant civilization that preferred to remain neutral and separate from the galaxy's endless conflicts. They believed humans were peaceful because they were weak, silent because they were timid, and distant because they were afraid. But now, as the Empire's fleet moved across the dark space toward the Sol system, their commanders began to notice patterns that did not match any of their expectations. They saw strange energy spikes, faint signatures of machines hidden in the shadows, and unusual signals that flickered on their scanners only for a moment before disappearing. The commanders dismissed them at first, thinking they were harmless, but the alien general's old warning kept echoing in the background of their minds. For years he had said the same thing: fear humanity. Respect humanity. Do not provoke humanity. Yet the Empire had laughed at him. Now, as their warships approached the outer edges of human territory, that laughter began to fade. Something was wrong, deeply wrong. The closer they came, the more silent the space around them became. No trade ships, no civilian transmissions, no distress calls, nothing. It felt as if the humans had vanished, but the Empire knew humans were still there. Something was hiding them. Something powerful. The first strange event happened when an Empire scout ship moved ahead to test human defenses. It sent a short message back to the fleet, only a few words before the signal cut out. Unknown object, approaching, impossible, then silence. The scout ship's tracker disappeared. No explosion. No debris. It was simply gone. The commanders were shaken, but they refused to retreat. Their pride was too strong. Their emperor had ordered them to teach humans their place, and they were determined to obey. So they pushed forward. On Earth, Humanity watched the Empire's advance in complete silence. They had no fear. Instead, they observed with calm discipline, their massive defense network preparing quietly in the darkness. Hidden in deep orbit were vast automated platforms unlike anything the Empire had ever seen. These machines did not emit heat signatures. They did not broadcast signals. They did not even appear on standard scanners. They were ghosts. Humanity had built them after centuries of observing other species. The humans had stayed neutral, but they had watched every war, every invasion, every betrayal, and they had learned. They had understood that peaceful intentions meant nothing if the galaxy around them refused to be peaceful. Now, as the Empire approached, humanity remained silent, waiting for the first strike. When the Empire fleet entered the Kuiper Belt, everything changed. At first, the commanders thought their sensors were malfunctioning. Thousands of tiny dots appeared at the edge of their screens. Then the dots grew larger. Then the dots began to move. They were drones, millions of them, small, fast, and armed with devastating weapons. But these were not ordinary drones. They moved as if controlled by a single mind, turning and shifting like a swarm of living shadows. Before the Empire fleet could prepare for battle, the swarm struck. They attacked with perfect precision, targeting engines, communication systems, and weapon ports. They did not destroy ships completely, only disabled them, cutting the fleet's strength without wasting energy. Within minutes, the Empire's pride was shattered. Half the fleet could no longer move. The rest struggled to defend themselves. The commanders shouted orders, but their voices trembled. No one had ever seen machines move like this. No one had ever seen coordination so perfect, so cold, so overwhelming. In deep space, hidden behind Earth's moon, the human command center watched the battle unfold. The officers were calm. The drones were only the first layer of human defense. If the Empire continued to advance, humanity was ready to unleash far greater power. But the humans did not want destruction. They wanted the Empire to understand. They wanted the Empire to see what the alien general had tried to say for so many years. Humanity was not weak. Humanity was not unprepared. Humanity had simply chosen peace until peace was no longer an option. On the Empire flagship, fear finally took over. Officers argued with each other, unsure of what to do. Some wanted to retreat. Others wanted to launch a full attack. And a few still insisted that the humans were bluffing, that this was only a trick. But then the main screen activated, and a single human face appeared. A calm voice spoke. "We warned you. We stayed neutral. We avoided conflict. But you brought your war to our doorstep. Leave now. This is your only chance." The Empire commanders froze. The human's tone was not angry. It was not loud. It was not emotional. It was simply confident, steady, and certain. That confidence terrified them more than any weapon ever could. The Emperor himself was watching the live feed from the capital. His rage burned, but beneath that rage was something new: fear. He could see that the humans had not even begun to fight. What he saw now was only the surface of their power. He wanted to order a retreat, but his pride held him back. He had declared that the Empire would crush humanity. If he pulled back now, the galaxy would mock him. So, with shaking hands, he sent a single command to the fleet: "Advance." And with that one word, the galaxy's fate changed forever. The humans sighed. They had given the Empire a chance. But the choice was made. The first clash was only the beginning, and the consequences would shake every star in the galaxy. The Empire fleet moved forward again, even after suffering heavy damage, and every commander knew deep inside that they were marching straight into disaster. But the Emperor's order was absolute, and no one in the Empire dared disobey. The fleet pushed past the disabled ships, past the remains of their pride, and deeper into human territory. Every moment felt heavier, the silence around them growing darker and thicker. The alien general had once warned them that humanity's strength came not from size, or numbers, or old traditions, but from something far more dangerous: pure adaptability. Now, as the Empire advanced, they began to understand what he meant. Humans changed fast. Humans learned fast. And humans built things the galaxy had never seen. When the Empire fleet passed Neptune's orbit, the space around them suddenly twisted. Bright lines of light spread across the darkness like glowing threads, forming strange shapes that looked like walls, cages, and massive shields. The Empire's scientists panicked. These structures were not energy shields. They were something new, something they could not explain. They were gravitational nets, giant fields that bent space itself, trapping anything inside them. Humanity had created these after observing the Empire's past wars. They had watched how ships escaped battles by jumping to faster-than-light travel. So humans designed a weapon that made escape impossible. The Empire fleet found itself caught inside these nets, unable to jump away. The commanders shouted in fear, "Disable the nets! Fire all weapons! Find a weakness!" But nothing worked. Energy blasts passed through the nets without harming them. Missiles bent in mid-flight as gravity twisted their direction. Even their most advanced bombs were useless. The Empire had entered a battlefield designed entirely by humans, and every part of it favored the defenders. Earth Command watched from a silent room deep beneath the planet's surface. The human officers remained calm as they monitored each Empire movement with cold precision. They did not celebrate. They did not fear. They only observed, calculating every detail. Humanity did not want to destroy the Empire, but they would not allow further invasion. The human commander finally gave a small signal, and Phase 2 began. Across the battlefield, hundreds of enormous human warships activated. They had been invisible moments before, hidden behind cloaking fields so perfect that even the Empire's best scanners detected nothing. These ships were not like anything the Empire had ever built. They did not look beautiful or ceremonial like the Empire's vessels. They were dark, simple, solid, and terrifying. Machines built purely for efficiency and survival. Their engines were silent. Their hulls absorbed scans. Their shapes were sharp and angular, almost unnatural. When they powered up, the Empire fleet felt it like a punch to the chest. A deep vibration spread through space as the human ships released a low-frequency pulse that shook every Empire system. Screens flickered. Engines slowed. Weapon controls froze. The Empire commanders stared in disbelief. How can they disrupt us from this far away?" one officer whispered. The alien general had once told them that humans studied technology not to copy it, but to perfect it. At the time, the Empire laughed, believing humans were ordinary. Now they understood the truth. Humanity had taken the galaxy's knowledge and then built something far superior. The human ships moved in a slow, controlled formation, surrounding the trapped Empire fleet. They did not fire. They did not threaten. They simply existed, a silent warning far louder than any words. For a long moment, nothing happened. The Empire fleet floated helplessly, with no escape, no communication, and no hope. The fear grew, spreading across every ship like cold smoke. Then the human commander's voice returned, calm and clear. "Turn back. This is your last warning." The Empire felt humiliation burn inside them. No one had ever spoken to them like this. No one had ever trapped their fleet so completely. The Emperor, watching from the capital, shook with rage. He refused to accept defeat. He refused to let the galaxy see the Empire surrender. And so he sent a final command, his pride blinding him to the truth. "Attack." The Empire fleet obeyed, even though many officers knew it was hopeless. They fired everything they had at the human ships. Missiles flew. Energy beams flashed. Shock waves ripped through space. But as soon as the attack began, humanity revealed a new layer of their power. The human ships activated their shields, not glowing blue or gold, not shining like traditional barriers. Instead, their shields bent space itself. Every Empire attack simply vanished, swallowed by distortions that made the blasts disappear like sparks into water. The Empire gasped in horror. Nothing they fired reached the humans. Nothing even touched them. Then humanity finally responded, not with destruction, but with precision. The human ships released thousands of microstrike drones, each no bigger than a fist. They moved faster than bullets, faster than Empire sensors could track. They targeted weapons, engines, power cores. Within minutes, half the Empire fleet was disabled, drifting helplessly. Even then, humans did not kill the crews. They only removed their ability to fight. The Empire finally understood. Humanity was not only strong, they were merciful even when facing an enemy. But that mercy only made the Empire's fear grow. Because mercy from such power meant humanity did not see them as equals. They saw them as children making foolish mistakes. The Emperor watched in silent horror as his greatest fleet was broken without a single human casualty. He realized too late that the alien general had been right. Humanity was the one force the galaxy should have never pushed. And now the galaxy would pay the price. The humans gave their final message: surrender, or the next step will not be gentle. The Empire commanders trembled. The Emperor hesitated, and the galaxy held its breath. The Empire fleet floated helplessly inside the human trap, caught between the gravitational nets and the silent ring of human warships that surrounded them like shadows. Every commander on those ships felt the same cold truth: they had lost. Not just the battle, but the illusion that the Empire was the galaxy's strongest force. Humanity had destroyed that belief with calm, controlled precision. The alien general's old warning echoed again across every captain's mind, haunting them. Fear humanity. Do not provoke them. The Empire had ignored him, and now they stood on the edge of destruction. The Emperor watched everything from his palace far away, his face pale and his hands shaking with anger and fear. His pride screamed at him to fight, to show the galaxy the Empire would not kneel. But his heart knew the truth: this was not a battle they could win. He had ordered the attack earlier, believing it would save his pride. Instead, it had shown how powerless they truly were. Now his fleet was crippled, drifting like broken metal in the void. Yet even with fear clawing at him, he refused to say the one word humanity asked for: surrender. On the Empire flagship, chaos grew. Officers argued with each other, some demanding surrender, others begging to keep fighting. They knew the Emperor was watching, but they also knew the Emperor was wrong. One officer shouted, "If we attack again, they will destroy us completely." Another yelled, "If we retreat without permission, the Emperor will execute our families." The fear of humanity clashed with the fear of their own ruler. For a moment, it seemed the fleet would tear itself apart before the humans even lifted a finger. Meanwhile, the human commander watched the chaos with calm, steady eyes. Humanity had planned for every possibility. They knew the Empire would resist surrender, they knew the Emperor's pride was deadly, and they knew fear could make even strong warriors unstable. But humanity did not want to exterminate anyone. They only wanted peace, peace that the Empire had refused again and again. So the human commander activated a channel and spoke once more, his voice steady, controlled, almost gentle. "Empire fleet, you have lost the ability to fight. You have lost the ability to escape. Continuing this conflict will only bring you destruction. We offer you one final chance. Stand down. Power off your weapons. Wait for further instruction. You will not be harmed if you comply." His calm tone frightened the Empire officers more than any threat could. A species with such power, speaking with such control, was far more terrifying than one that shouted or screamed. The Empire flagship trembled slightly as the crew hesitated. Some officers wanted to obey the humans. Others still clung to pride. Then, something unexpected happened. A small ship in the Empire fleet powered down all systems. It floated quietly, weapons offline, engines dark. It was an act of surrender. A second ship followed, then a third, and soon dozens of Empire vessels shut down their systems as well. They did it not because of loyalty or honor, but because fear had consumed them. They wanted to live. They wanted to go home. They wanted the nightmare to end. The Emperor saw this and felt something he had not felt in decades: panic. His own fleet was disobeying him. His own people were surrendering without his order. His power was slipping through his fingers like water. Rage and humiliation filled him, and in a desperate attempt to regain control, he issued a terrible command: "Detonate the self-destruction code for all ships that have surrendered." His voice was cold, merciless. The officers in the palace hesitated, whispering in fear. Destroying his own soldiers? Killing thousands of Empire crew members? It was madness. But the Emperor did not care. He would rather kill his own people than allow them to kneel to humanity. Before the command could be executed, every screen in the Imperial Palace flickered and went dark. A moment later, a single message appeared. No, the Emperor froze. The message was not from his people. It was from humanity. The human cyber units had already infiltrated the Empire's command systems. They had disabled the self-destruction protocols. They had prevented the Emperor from murdering his own troops. And they had done it effortlessly. A new voice filled the palace, a human AI, calm and emotionless. We will not allow mass slaughter. Your fleet has surrendered. They are under our protection now. The Emperor screamed in rage, but no one listened. Humanity had stripped him of power with a single word. On the battlefield, the remaining Empire ships realized what had happened. Humanity had saved them from their own ruler. For the first time in Empire history, soldiers felt gratitude toward an enemy. The Empire flagship trembled as its last loyal officers finally made their choice. Slowly, painfully, they powered down their weapons. Then the engines. Then the shields. The flagship went silent. The surrender was complete. Humanity watched closely, scanning every ship to confirm compliance. When it was done, the human commander nodded. The battle is over. But even as the fleet surrendered, something darker was growing far away in the Empire capital. The Emperor would not forget this humiliation. He would not forgive it. And he would not stop here. Humanity had broken the Empire's pride, but in doing so, they had awakened something far more dangerous. And the galaxy was about to face the consequences. The Empire fleet had surrendered, floating silently inside the human trap like wounded beasts waiting for judgment. Humanity had shown mercy, refusing to destroy or punish them, but the galaxy was already trembling from the shock. News of the Empire's defeat spread across star systems in hours. Entire civilizations whispered in fear, some stunned by humanity's power, others grateful that humans chose restraint instead of chaos. For centuries, the galaxy believed humans were small, passive, and uninterested in war. Now they understood the truth. Humans had remained neutral not because they were weak, but because they did not want the galaxy to suffer. But the galaxy had pushed them too far. And now everyone would face the consequences of the Empire's pride. Far away, on the Empire capital, the Emperor paced across his throne room like a trapped animal. His eyes were filled with madness and his face twisted with hatred. His greatest fleet, his symbol of power, had not only been defeated but had surrendered without his permission. Humanity had humiliated him and saved his own troops from destruction. To him, this was the worst insult in history. He screamed at his advisors, blaming them, threatening them, accusing them of betrayal. But deep inside, the truth was clear. He had lost control. And when a ruler loses control, desperation becomes his only weapon. The Emperor called for the secret division, the darkest part of the Empire's military. These were scientists and generals who worked outside normal laws, experimenting with weapons forbidden by every civilized species. The Emperor gave them one order: build me a weapon that can destroy the humans completely. The scientists hesitated, knowing this was impossible. They had seen the footage of human defenses. They had analyzed the gravitational nets, the swarm drones, the space warping shields. They knew humanity's technology was centuries ahead of theirs. But the Emperor was insane, and his madness was contagious. He demanded obedience, and the Empire followed out of fear. They began working on a new device, something unstable and dangerous, something that could not be controlled, but something that might cause enough destruction to satisfy the Emperor's pride. Meanwhile, humanity escorted the surrendered fleet to a neutral zone near the Galactic Council Station. The humans repaired damaged ships, treated injured soldiers, and offered food and medical care. This shocked the Empire crew even more than the battle itself. They had expected torture, imprisonment, or death. Instead, they received kindness. Many Empire officers felt their loyalty breaking. For the first time, they wondered if the Empire had lied to them about humanity. The alien general, who had warned the Empire for years, watched all this with heavy sadness. He had not wanted this war. He had wanted peace. He had begged his rulers to respect humanity. Now he sat quietly inside a medical station, recovering from stress and injury, knowing the galaxy stood on the edge of something far worse. Humanity sent a final message to the Empire: we do not seek conflict. We do not seek control. But if you attack again, we will end this war permanently. The message was calm but absolute. The Empire received it, but the Emperor ignored it completely. He had already passed the point of reason. Weeks passed. The galaxy watched in fear, waiting to see what the Empire would do next. Then it happened. At the edge of the Empire's territory, a massive explosion tore through space. It was unlike anything seen before. Stars trembled. Planets shook. Space rippled like water. Millions died instantly. A whole system vanished. The galaxy froze in horror. The Emperor declared victory, screaming to his people that he had created a super weapon capable of erasing humans next. But the scientists who built it whispered the truth to each other. The weapon was unstable. It did not obey commands. It consumed everything it touched, including parts of the Empire itself. It was a disaster, not a weapon. Humanity saw the explosion from billions of kilometers away. Their sensors warned them immediately: this was not a normal attack. This was a universal threat. If left alone, the unstable energy could spread and destroy entire sectors of the galaxy. Humanity had no choice. They prepared for their final move. The human commander gathered his council. "This is no longer a war between us and the Empire," he said. "This is a threat to every living being. We must stop it." Humanity mobilized their greatest machines, weapons designed not for killing but for sealing ruptures in spacetime. They deployed the Titan engines, massive structures capable of stabilizing distortion fields. No other species in the galaxy had ever seen them before. When the humans activated the engines, the sky itself seemed to fold. Waves of blue light spread across space, closing the growing tier created by the Empire's unstable weapon. 4 hours, every human machine worked at maximum capacity. The Empire watched helplessly. Other civilizations watched in awe. Slowly, painfully, humanity sealed the cosmic wound, preventing the destruction of countless star systems. When it was finally over, humanity sent one last message to the Empire Emperor: "Your pride almost destroyed the galaxy. This ends now." The Emperor, still trembling with rage, refused to respond. But his people no longer listened to him. His armies no longer trusted him. His scientists no longer feared him. The Empire Council rose against him, removing him from power, knowing that if he remained, the galaxy would burn. Humanity did not interfere. They simply watched the Empire collapse under its own arrogance. The war was over. But the lesson remained. The galaxy finally understood the alien general's warning. Humanity was not to be feared because they wanted war. Humanity was to be feared because they could end war permanently. And from that day forward, no civilization ever looked at Earth the same way again. Humanity returned to their peace, silent and neutral once more, knowing that if the galaxy ever threatened them again, the consequences would be catastrophic.